All right. Hello, everyone. It's Friday again, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means it's time for me to go live and let's talk about easy things you can incorporate in your classroom tomorrow. Or since it's Friday, I really should change this to what you can use on Monday, but I just keep going with it week after week, which is fine because you guys go along with me. For my new viewers, my name is Becky Schnekser. I am a kindergarten through grade 5 science teacher in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm also an explorer, an adventurist, and just all around super passionate and excited part of education. I am passionate about all things great education and great learning. And so I created this little series that happens every single Friday to just sit down, especially right now when we're in a incredibly new and a little bit stressful situation with the world of education right now. No matter what situation you're in, some people have been live and remote learning for a while. Some have just started. Some have started a couple times, start and stop, just kind of depending on where you are. There have been a lot of trial and error things going on because none of us has done this before. This wasn't a thing a few months ago. So we're all in this together. So I want to just share with you every week easy things that you can use or you can think about when you're planning how to deliver instruction remotely, whether you have synchronous time or asynchronous time or a blend of those. Hopefully, you can glean a little something each week that you can use in whatever situation you find yourself in. You might be a parent that now has taken on a completely different role at your home. You might be an educator. You might be an educator and a parent. You might be any kind of combination of all of those things. And no matter what your role is, it's super important. And let's just face it, it's exhausting right now trying to navigate this new situation that we're all in. You'll notice that this week I'm by myself. Normally, I have some friends along with me from the education world. I'm by myself this week, slightly on purpose and slightly just because that's how the dice rolled this week. I have to be honest with you, this week for me was extremely rough. It was exhausting, tiring. It was just difficult for me to get through, especially the last 2 days. The previous 2 days, Thursday and Wednesday, were I just woke up both days not feeling like myself mentally, not feeling like myself physically. I don't know where I was, but I wasn't here. And today, as the day has been rolling on, I've gotten a lot more back to normal me, which is awesome. I'm still not 100%, but I'm a heck of a lot closer to normal Becky Schnekser right at this moment in time than I was this morning when I woke up at 5. So that's great. And I feel like we're all going through these ebbs and flows right now, whether it's personally, professionally, both at the same time. And it's a double whammy, but no matter what, we're here together and I want to share with you. So I thought, what better week than to talk about self-care? Self-care is so important. We talk about this all the time. When we are having our best days, when we're having our worst days, when we're having our in the middle days, we always hear from other people. Self-care is important. I say it to myself, and guess what? I'm not the best at self-care. But this week has really tested me and made me really think more critically about my own personal self-care. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm trying out, some of the things I'm doing, and what I believe are some of the reasons that I do feel way closer to 100% right at this moment than I did 48 hours ago. So, one thing, I always work out in the morning, whether it is a high interval training, whether it's running, weightlifting, cardio, or even yoga. I do that every single morning. But this week, I didn't feel as strong as I normally do, but I kept pushing through. And so that was part of something that I didn't feel like it, but I kept going because I know it's so incredibly important. So that's not really a change that I made. But what I did start doing was thinking more carefully about how I was spending other time during the day because I am a die-hard educator. I will do 100 million% more than I think I should for my students to get through to all of them, to engage every single one of them. And that is exhausting on a normal day. And in remote learning, I feel like it's doubly exhausting. And so I've been pushing myself to do more and more and more and switch it up and see what's going to work with my students in every different grade level when I meet with them. And that's made me super exhausted, but I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop doing more for my students. I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to step off to the side. I'm not going to call it in. I'm not going to just put minimal effort into something for my students because they deserve more. What I did choose to do was start thinking a little more about my passions and how I'm spending my offline time and trying to incorporate that a little bit more with my students. So, let me give you an example. I am teaching from 9 to 12 every single day. In the afternoon, I unplug. I go outside with my own two kids and we go on expeditions. Every single day, we take a huge walk around the neighborhood, whether it's rainy, sunny, cold, hot, anywhere in the middle, we get outside. So I always keep that in mind when I'm planning for my students. But even more, I was thinking about what is it about being outside that is so attractive to me? What is it about being outside that calms me down and makes me feel like, okay, it's okay? And something about being in nature, making observations and thinking about nature as art or sitting down and drawing. I am a terrible drawer. I can tell you right now. I make stick figures somehow look bad. Like that is real talent. So but I like doing it. I like to draw, I like to color, I like to pretend like I'm a really great artist even though I know for sure I'm not. I sit down and I do a lot of nature journaling and sketching, just kind of paying attention to details, patterns, colors. And sometimes I just take the time to be quiet. I know what you're thinking. That must be really hard for you. Yeah, it is. It is really hard. But it does, at a certain level, bring me joy to be quiet. So I take time outside and I'm just quiet and I write down what I hear, how many of different things that I hear. What do I think I'm hearing? Where is it that I think I'm hearing? What direction do I think I'm hearing that thing? Whether it's a bird, maybe it's a mammal, maybe it's insects or something rustling in the leaves. I make a map, and that's called sound mapping, which I can share links in the comments here with you. But I started thinking about what I do and I'm incorporating those little pieces more with my students, but I'm connecting it to their content too. Although you don't have to. Right now, content, academic standards are not important. Your students' well-being, your well-being is the most important thing. So maybe I task them with just going outside and writing, coloring, drawing, recording whatever they want outside. Sometimes I do connect it to whatever they're learning. So, my second graders, I've been taking them on expeditions online to different places in South America that I've been to show them, oh, this is what Machu Picchu is like. This is what it was probably like for the ancient Incans. And bringing all these different aspects and biomes and ecosystems and climate, bringing all these things to life when we're together, but then tasking them on their own to go outside and find ways to recreate something that they've learned about South America. I didn't have to connect it to their content, but they're like so into it. So I gauge their interest and their willingness and their I don't know, just their connection to the content. They are so connected to the content. So their extra activity that's outside, I made sure to connect to what they're actually studying. Now I have some grade levels where the content that we're studying, they're not like all in. So I just have them taking breaks and going outside. And then I make the connections. When they come the next time and they share that picture, they share that drawing, and they say, I didn't draw or write or anything, but I can tell you that I saw blah, 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 blah. And they're excited about sharing, then I will connect whatever I need to connect to that, whether I want to talk about math, or whether I want to just talk about communicating and sharing and observations, I make those connections if I need to. Sometimes I don't think I need to because, again, academic standards right now, not important. Give yourself a break, give your students a break too. It's not the most important thing that's happening right now. Now, I've got a tickle in my throat because I'm talking all the time. So I need a little bit of water. Thank you. I'm not used to talking all this time on the live stream by myself. So thank you for bearing with me as I get water. And as I cough, my eyes are a little bit watery right now because I'm a little bit tickly. So the main point though is that I'm taking the time to do what brings me joy. I'm not doing it because what brings me joy is great for tackling this academic standard or tackling this personal goal that I have in my life that I'm pushing forward right now. I'm doing it because it brings me joy. A lot of times I'll do stuff that brings me joy, but also does something else for me. Maybe it advances a project that I'm working on. Maybe it helps me make a connection to something academically to that my students are doing. But right now, I'm not doing any of it because it brings me joy. When I'm disconnected from my students on the online time, I go outside and I do nature walks because I want to do it. I journal because I want to do it. I started reading this book because I want to read it. Now, it just turns out I can do a lot of content connection to this with my students, but that's not the reason I'm reading it. I also finished reading in record time this book by my dear friend. You guys have met him before, CJ Reynolds. Not necessarily because I need to read this to incorporate it into my classroom, but because I wanted to read it. CJ is an amazing person. And I, for my own self, wanted to read his stories. I wanted to connect more to his experience as an educator in a completely different place than me, with sometimes completely different thoughts about the world and about education and about different experiences. So I read that for me. Can I use it for other stuff? Yeah, probably. But it's for me. So I think that's the biggest change that I've made this week, especially is in thinking about self-care. I'm not doing things for self-care that actually also help me do something else. Where normal Becky, I'm on the go doing all kinds of things and I love what I do. Love what I do, but it checks like 5 different boxes on my personal or professional agenda of what things that I want to accomplish in my life. But right now, I'm not worried about that. I've given my students permission to not worry about academics, but I wasn't giving myself that permission. I wasn't giving myself the permission to take care of myself and not worry about other things and not choose to do something that I like because it will get me X, Y, and Z on my to do list accomplished at the same time. I'm keeping those separate because I feel like this week proved to me that I need to do that. I need to take care of myself just to take care of myself. And I feel like I am the proverbial energizer bunny or the cheerleader that's like always hyping people up. Like I'm a hype person and I love hyping people up. But sometimes I can't. And this week, that was another thing that just I had to take a step back 2 days ago because I'm on the go, on the go, on the go. I'm excited. I'm motivating. I'm hyping people up, but I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it for myself, and I couldn't give more. So I stepped back a little bit from social media. You may have seen that. So take some time. Here's my underlying message for you. Take some time to surround yourself with self-care that is 100% only self-care. Take care of you. You're not doing it because it's self-care and it's going to help you teach this lesson and it's going to help you make this connection or this next step in your professional life or your personal life. That's great. If it does, that's awesome. But right now, put that off to the side if you can. Put it off to the side. And I think that you will see that you're a little bit more relaxed. It's helped me So I'm hoping that perhaps it'll help you, or I'm giving you permission right now to chill, take a step back, and do what you need to do. Don't disappear completely from your students because they do need you to. Your family needs you to. All these people and things do need you, but you also need you as well. So I'm giving you permission to make a separation, especially for those who are like me, that a lot of times we don't make that separation. We're just like, go, go, go. We don't need a break. We don't need this. I know two of my friends, Adam and Carrie Ann, have picked up yoga recently, and both of them are using someone on YouTube. One is Yoga with Adrian, and one of them is, I have to look at my text because I asked Carrie Ann for the name and then I forgot who it was that she told me. She does yoga with Julia Marie because she feels like it's pushing her more. It's challenging her in ways that it needs to challenge her. So yoga is something great that you can pick up and just do on your own. I use the Nike training app, and on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I am in a training program. It's totally free, right? Because I'm a teacher, just like a lot of you guys. So it's free. But I signed up for like a 6 week. I do all these workouts just from this one trainer that's on there, and it does feel awesome. Like, oh, they're pushing me, and and all of that. But it's an extra push that I needed. But then on Tuesday, Thursday, I do yoga on the Nike training app, which is again free, but it gives me something else to challenge me and to kind of take care of myself outside of what I normally do. So take some time, surround yourself with things that make you happy. That's what I did. Since I'm by myself talking to you guys today, I surrounded myself. I have to tell you what all these things are because I'm sure you're looking at it and you're like, why does she have four hats? Like she can't wear a hat with that headset on. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll try it. I have four hats and I also have four books. And these are all things that make me happy. And when I think about them, when I look at them, they give me memories of things that I love and that I look forward to participating in the future. So this hat, these ones kind of go together. Micro Amazon was one of my expeditions from last year in the Amazon looking for microorganisms, little things that live especially in water in the Peruvian Amazon. So that hat just makes me remember and feel like I'm in the jungle with my science friends doing field work. This is also from the jungle. This is weaving by the Shipibo Kanibo culture. This is weaving that they traditionally do. And this hat was gifted to me by one of the field team members, actually the principal investigator, Andres Russo. Love, love, love this hat. I wear it often, actually, but this weaving just connects me back to the Amazon and to the cultures that are there. Peek into my Schnekser brain. If you ever see me wearing this hat, I guarantee you that I'm wearing it because I want to feel connected back to the Peruvian Amazon. This is one of my tickets, my keys to putting myself back in the Amazon where I absolutely love to spend time. This shirt is actually one of the shirts that I wear in the field. So you can see today I surrounded myself with a lot of things that remind me of the Peruvian Amazon. So this is one of my field shirts. This is Shipibo Kanibo Weaving, and then the Micro Amazon team. This is from a dear friend of mine, Jamal Galves, who is a manatee conservationist. He works in Belize. I met him last year, and this hat is super special because he even signed it and wrote wrote a little message to me on the inside, and it makes me happy. I love, love, love thinking about my time in Belize from last summer and meeting Jamal, which was, I'll have to come on sometime and like maybe do a series of like expedition stories, because the way that I connected and actually met Jamal in Belize was a ridiculous, like the universe made this happen. Fantastic story. This is my last hat that I surrounded myself with today. This is from 2018 when I found out that I was selected as a Grosvenor Teacher Fellow, which is a beautiful, beautiful partnership with National Geographic Society and Lindblad Expeditions, where they take educators on expeditions around the world. And the expedition that I was chosen to go on was to Galapagos, and I have so many stories from that expedition. It was amazing. And so that hat just reminds me of the 39 other educators that were fellows with me in 2018. And of course, it reminds me of being in the field again. So a lot of what I've surrounded myself is are artifacts from the field that remind me of the work that I've done in places around the world that brings me so much joy. The 4 books, you've seen one, Braiding Sweetgrass, which is a beautiful, beautiful book, and it's hard to put down, but I have to. I love reading it outside because it's all about indigenous culture and all about nature and being outside and connecting yourself to nature, which is it's beautiful. I absolutely treasure the time that I read that book. I actually reserve myself a spot in my favorite tree outside. I climb in a tree to read that book. So I'm not super far into it because in order to read that, I won't go climb a tree in the rain. Like maybe if I had to do field work, I would, but I don't outwardly choose to go outside when it's cold and rainy to read my book in the tree. So that's just kind of the silly, like another step into Schnekser brain. That's what she does, is refuses to read that book unless she's in a tree. I don't make the rules. Actually, I do. It's my rule that I made for myself. The Pepper Effect was written by a dear, dear friend, Sean Gaylord. This is an amazing, amazing book, and um, I adore the message. And so, if I ever just need a pick me up, this is a one of the go to books that I go to, and I have lots of things highlighted in here that I go back and I quote, or I'll send Sean a message and just quote him his own book, or just say, "Hi, I miss you. What's going on?" Because he's amazing. And Be the One for Kids by Ryan Sheehy is an amazing, super quick read that just talks about being the one for kids and in different aspects of their lives and their academic lives as well. And it's another one of those books that you could just, it's timeless. You can open it and you're like, ah, yes, be the one for the kids who knocks on the door. Be the one who keeps kids moving. Be the one who tells your school story. But it's just all these beautiful nuggets to take with you as an educator and as a human being. Beautiful book. And then, of course, my latest uh, Dave Burgess Publishing book that I've bought and just absolutely devoured was Teach Your Class Off. It's filled with amazing stories that'll make you laugh, make you cry. One of my favorites, I haven't even shared this with CJ. So, CJ, if you're watching this is one of my absolutely favorite. I literally laughed out loud, and my husband thought I was nuts at this quote. Let's find it. It is talking about toxic school culture, and it makes me so happy. And now I'm thinking, like, maybe I should have these little episodes where I talk about the books because I have so much to say about them and they totally deserve having time to break them down. But here's my favorite, all time favorite quote from Teach Your Class Off by CJ Reynolds. Dealing with toxicity, the first 3 sentences, it might even be the first 2 sentences, are amazing. Are you ready? Dealing with toxicity. One of the issues that completely blindsided me when I began teaching was dealing with what I call toxic teachers. These are the teachers whose attitudes and behaviors permeate school culture like a fart. I know, like, I was trying not to laugh, but like, really, CJ? Um, Absolutely beautiful. They do. Toxic people, no matter where you are in life, toxic people permeate rooms and cultures and feelings and energy like a fart. And no one wants to be the fart, right? So that wasn't necessarily supposed to be a plug for those books, but you should totally buy them. They're awesome. So, my friends, what I'm hoping that you gleaned from today was find something that brings you joy, just joy, nothing else. And it's for you, your joy. It gives you a little moment of zen, or gives you a little moment to stop and think and reconnect to yourself rather than anything else. I'm giving you permission. I gave myself permission this week, which was really, really difficult. I'm giving all of you permission. Think about something or some things. Sometimes it takes more than one thing. It took a few things for me. What are you going to stop and just do for yourself? I want you to think about that. I want you to do it. And I want you to report back to me. I want to hear what you're doing to take care of yourself. That's purely bringing you joy. All right, my friends, I will see you next week with a whole new group of people and not just my hats. I can't wait to see you then. Until then, guys, take care of yourselves.